Dr. Maynard. This is Gina Marie DiNardo and Victoria Fidico's Dear Future President video. We have our friend Thomas Bartle here. He's going to help us out with some questions and some different things we want to say to our future president. So starting candidate are you going to vote for president?
I'm voting for Donald Trump.
Okay. The other candidates for president are Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders.
And the front runner on the other Republican side, Ted Cruz.
Yeah, Ted Cruz, him too. Oh well. Okay, moving on. So, why do you want to vote for Donald Trump? What do you want out of your future president?
Out of my future president, I want someone who will take initiative and will strive to make our country better. I like our country, and I believe that we should be taking care of people who are from our country more so than people who are not from our country. I want someone who would help the Americans before helping the other people who are not Americans, who will put us first. Even though that this is our country and this should be a country for everyone, I believe that even with illegal immigration, you should have to, if you want to come to this country, that's a great thing, come into the country, America, all the possibilities you can do here, but you should register yourself as a citizen, do the proper things, pay taxes, do all the proper things that every American citizen does. Another thing I want to talk about is the trading system. We keep losing jobs to other countries like Mexico and China and etc. If they want to leave the country to go do business somewhere else, say for Mexico, they go to Mexico and they do business there. They only have to pay, the labor there is so much cheaper than the labor here, and they're moving all the way out to there, but somehow still, the Americans are their #1 consumers. And they want to send all of their stuff over from Mexico to America. What I want the future president to do is get a 35 to 40% tax on the item as it's crossing over the border.
This is our teacher, Mrs. Knapp. She's coming to us with a
Independent point of view for the future president.
Okay. Hi, good morning. I'm Mrs. Rosemary Knapp. I teach ELA here at Archbishop Ryan. This year I have sophomores and seniors. If I were to address a letter to Dear Mr. or Madam President, what I would say is this. Please remember that the United States was born out of violence, and out of that violence created one of the most compassionate, powerful countries in the world. I would ask the future president to remember that America, the United States, is a country of hope, not despair. It's a country of compassion, not of hatred. And to always remember and to remind American citizens themselves of the better angels of their nature. Abraham Lincoln gave us that line, and I still think it is true today. We are truly a nation of immigrants. We left England, our ancestors did. Religious freedom, economic freedom, but we came to a place that we did not know. We weren't necessarily welcomed.
What would you say that the minimum wage should be raised to? Right now in Pennsylvania, I believe it's $7.25 an hour.
I think it should be $9.
$9.
$9 of fair pay.
Yeah, I think $9, maybe at the highest $10 would be a fine pay. I mean, in my opinion, I believe that minimum wage is something meant to get yourself through your teenage years and through your lower 20s into when you get an actual real job. I don't believe that someone should be making, there are some majors in college where if you go out and you go to school for 4 years and you go and work in that specific major for the rest of your life, and someone from McDonald's is making $15 or $16 an hour, it's a possibility that depending on how high the pay their major is, they're making almost the same money as the person that is working at McDonald's.
And that's not okay at all. I think our future president really needs to try to improve that whole situation with that. Dear future president, one of another big issues, in my opinion, is that we have people from our country fighting these ridiculous wars and fights in other countries. We have so many people over in random countries that most people don't even know about. We really need to stop fighting wars. We need to stop deploying our soldiers to places that we don't need to be fighting wars. We really need to stop putting so much money and time and effort in our citizens into these wars when it's really not necessary.
Dear future president, there's a lot of things that I'd like to address. The education system is very messed up right now. A lot of people are going to college and coming out with debt, and they're not able to continue with. One of the biggest problems in our society is our education system. 80% of high school students come out with a diploma, but probably most of them don't know what to do after graduation. A lot of kids will go to college, but even after that, they don't know what to do. And most people don't know how to manage their money because schools don't teach that. We learn math and other skills that we don't need in basic life, but they don't teach us financial skills. There are electives that you have to choose, but they're not mandatory. When I leave high school, I won't be able to balance a checkbook or know how to pay a mortgage or my electricity bill even, but I'll know how to find the logarithm of E.
Dear future president, one of the biggest issues I think we need to address in our country is the food companies and the whole entire food industry. One of the largest problems in our country is obesity and health-related problems. We have so many different health cares. We have Obamacare. We have all these different healthcare options to help support the diseases like cancer, heart disease, diabetes, all those different things which are primarily caused by food. If our government didn't feed us such horrendous foods and foods that are so bad for you, then we wouldn't have most of these diseases. We wouldn't need all of this healthcare. We wouldn't have so many people dying, and we wouldn't have all these problems in our world. Our country is so genetically modified with everything that we eat and do. There's so many additives in our food. There's so many horrible things in our foods that can kill us. And then we wonder why our country is so sick, and we wonder why our country is so obese. They make the cheapest foods, the foods that are the most unhealthy for you. We need to stop making foods cheap. We need to start making foods just healthier. We need to start making foods that are fresher. We need to start offering better foods to poorer areas of our country. That's one of the biggest issues. The poorest areas get the worst quality foods, and they have the highest obesity rates, and it really needs to change. We need to stop making so many genetically modified foods, and we need to start feeding our country real foods. And once we start to do that, once we start to make our foods healthier, people will stop becoming less sick, and we won't have a requirement for so much health care. We won't have as many people dying from these different diseases and various cancers and just rare things like ADD. All these things can be linked back to food. So I think one thing that we really need to focus on is stopping GMOs, stopping these fake horrible foods. Just stop making them and stop distributing them altogether. The last thing that I want to say to our future president is, dear future president, please be honest, please be truthful, please care about our citizens, please really make a gallant effort to, like I said, be honest. There's so many people that lie in this world. There's so many corrupt politicians, so much corruption in our world, in the church, and every so-called good, helpful establishment there is. The last thing that we need is another president that is going to lie, that is going to hurt our country, that is going to keep secrets, that is going to harm our country in any way, shape, or form. At this point, regardless of which candidate gets chosen for president, I just want them to be honest and really genuinely care about the citizens of our country, genuinely care about the well-being of the citizens in our country, and just genuinely care about what happens during their presidency. Don't blow it off, don't do anything like that. Just try your hardest and your best, and that's really the most that I can ask out of my future president.